Hey guys, it's Nick from Mr.S Travel Quest, and we traveled to Dublin, Ireland. Ireland is more than just Dublin, and we wanted to visit other amazing sites like the Cliffs of Moher and another great city in Ireland, Galway. We decided to book the Wild Rover bus tour out of Dublin, which would take us on a scenic route across Ireland. Is it worth the time and money? Are you better off renting a car? Unscripted, me and my brother Mike talk about our honest experience. If you've been on this tour or had a better experience with a different company, let us know in the comments. Now, let's jump into the video. All right, guys, my name is Mr. S, Travel Quest, and I have my brother Mike here with us, and he's going to be talking about, actually, we're going to be talking about this together, our experience with the Wild Rover Tour from Dublin, Ireland to some other points of interest of Ireland. So, Mike, introduce yourself.
Hey, I am Mr. S's Travel Quest younger brother, and I'm happy to be here and happy to talk about all things Ireland and Cliffs of Moher and Galway City.
All right. Hey, Mike, with this, we're going to be super honest, no holds bars, unfiltered. And I'm super excited to have you here talking about this experience. Dublin, Ireland was amazing. The reason why I wanted to book this tour, I know we only had 3 days, right? And I thought a lot of time to explore everything, but we wanted to get out of Dublin. I think it's going into Dublin, we took a lot of Ubers going to different places. And one of the Uber drivers even said not to do this tour.
Yeah, the night before we were getting ready to, we had to go to bed early because we had to wake up at like, I don't know, 5:30 in the morning in order to, I think we walked maybe, but get to the place by 6:30 to catch the bus. And he was like, nah, don't go there. And so, we still went though. What was an experience?
It was an experience, and not only did he have that to say, he was local, he's from Dublin, and he gave us some tips saying you better off just renting a car.
I don't remember, but I know he sent me his iNotes of like places to check out that we could share with people.
I know we missed out. We should have listened to him. Taking the tour bus, it was going to be 13 plus hours.
6:45 in the morning until whatever's 13 hours later is.
And the whole reason to do this tour, we wanted to get out of Dublin. We chose to not rent a vehicle because originally it was supposed to be 5 of us going to Ireland, right?
Mhm.
And of course, our parents weren't able to come with us and join us on these adventures. It was just 3 of us. That being said, we thought nobody has to drive. Nobody has to drive on the other side of the road and be so, stressed about going on this wonderful vacation. And
We'll just
we
kick
decided
back and be in this big bus.
Exactly. And the reviews, they have good reviews, like 4 or 5 stars. So he's like, hey, why not?
5,205 reviews. Okay, 5,000 and a 5-star rating. I mean, like, how much better can it get? I'm like, cool, 5 stars. Wow, 5,000 people love this. It must be amazing. And the price point is so affordable. It's like $75 per person for a 13-hour tour, So I'm like, okay, cool. This looks great.
We jump on 6 o'clock in the morning. We get on a bus. And the bus is packed. It's full of people, right? From
every
around
seat,
the world.
literally every seat.
And the first thing I noticed, I'm not a little guy. I'm weighing a little bit over 250 pounds, and I got to sit with my brother, thankfully, right? But unfortunately, my wife did not sit next to us, and these seats are super small. We're talking about airplane size,
economy, basic economy.
Yeah, and tour also offered Wi-Fi, and unfortunately, most of the tour you could not get on at all. How about you?
No, it kind of makes sense, right? When you're passing through maybe like farmland that you wouldn't have it. But even when we were in the cities, like in Galway City, didn't have it.
We go on this tour, on this bus tour, and there are breaks. That in the first place we stopped at was where? Do you remember?
Was it Cliffs of Moher?
The Barack Obama gas station.
Wait, did we?
Yeah. They had
remember.
Some sort of gas station and it had a statue. Like it's so random. Like they had
I
Barack
remember
Obama,
now.
the gas station, and I guess they had like a picture of his great 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 grandfather who happens to be Irish, and they have a picture of him, and then Obama, and they call it the Obama gas station. Anyway, it was a cool little pit stop. You're on the bus for almost 2-3 hours before we get to Cliffs of Moher. And it's a scenic route. You get to see, the countryside of Ireland is beautiful, and it really is that green.
We're on this bus, right? And like, this is a bus tour, right? It is a Cliffs of Moher bus tour, right? So I'm thinking, cool, tell me about Ireland. Like, what are we seeing? We're seeing some rolling hills. wow, like, how long have these hills been here? Like, I don't know, like we're passing some, I don't know, maybe local cottages. Like, is this how locals typically live? Is this sort of what it's been like ever since 1828? Like, I want to know. You don't even have to be like have that much information. Just give me a little bit of something. That's not what we got, is it, Nick?
No, you're right. Going on a tour that we went before, the day before, the historical walking tour was full of information, and it was a 2 hour tour about Dublin. So I was going in thinking we was going to get the same experience of like all that historic information about Ireland. We did pass some castles along the way.
Hmm.
So I'm like, we're telling this lady that's giving the tour, like, hey, what's this castle about? Like, because she was talking a lot about herself, the love of music, and
She loved music. She loved playing her little penny whistle. Okay. She played this on that bus into the microphone for probably, I don't know, I would say 75% of the time that we were on that bus.
you know what? I'm gonna put a video of I got a video of you right on my phone, and it was really getting the you and another guy like just revving their head, just full of like just being
So
annoyed
stressed.
and stressed. And this is the thing I learned from my brother. Carry some headphones, especially when you're around, because you don't know what to expect. I had to listen to this lady ramble and play her penny whistle for at least 6 7 hours. It got to the point where people was like, hey, can you tell us some information about this castle? Where are we stopping? Can you tell us some information? And she went back and just talked about her album or whatever she had going on.
And she played more penny whistle.
Then we stopped at the Cliffs of Moher. And once we got to the Cliffs of Moher, it was amazing. It was beautiful. You only have 2 hours. And this is where I wish I kind of rented a car because I would have spent half a day kind of
Mm.
doing more and hiking a little bit more. So I felt a little rush once we got to Cliff of Moher because there's tons of people. You're not the only bus tour. There was other bus companies there as well. You're kind of rushing to get to those scenic spots. They tell you not to go over the cliffs. You'll see tourists doing that. So how do you feel about the Cliffs of Moher?
Let me tell you, in Harry Potter, and I believe it's the Half Blood Prince, it was filmed at the Cliffs of Moher. And from where you're standing, you can't really see it because you only see the water. But after going to the Cliffs of Moher, I rewatched the movie and I was like, oh, so that's kind of cool. I mean, it's like the history of how it's created, those cliffs. I guess it's something about the wind and the salt water. I'm not really quite sure, and maybe volcanoes, but that's kind of cool.
And you got The Princess Bride too. That
Ooh.
was filmed there. There's a lot of movies that's filmed at a scenic location. There's tons of people, tons of opportunity to take those, the Instagram worthy photos, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they have like a little museum. This talks about the history
Mm-hmm.
of that location. And I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, the first submarine was tested there.
Oh,
So
ever?
ever. But you only get 2 hours, and those 2 hours go by pretty fast. Because I think we walked like 30 minutes and then we walked back for another 30. That was already an hour. And then we spent the last maybe 45, 50 minutes checking out that little museum.
And there's a little cute food court there. And I think there was a couple of shops. That's where I bought my first penny whistle at that shop. Later on, I bought a couple more penny whistles, but not at that shop. So, you can really get the taste of Ireland at the Cliffs of Moher. And I have to say, after the Cliffs of Moher, we went to Burren National Park for a quick like photo. And then we went to Galway City. And that was really cool. That was really cool to see because we had only ever been to Dublin, and it was really interesting to see because it's on like the Dublin's here, it's on the literally opposite coast. So it was cool to see what like another city in Ireland looks like. So what did I do in Galway City? Well, after learning about the penny whistle on that bus ride and listening to it for so long, I just got really, tried to turn it to a positive, and I was like, I'm really curious about this. So there was like a couple of music stores there, and I was looking at purchasing like a real penny whistle. I didn't end up doing it there, but turns out there were like so many different types, some in a high register, some in a low register. So that was really interesting. And then I checked out some local bookstores. I went to a brunch cafe. I think I had like some French toast or something like that. And then all of a sudden the time was up. So yeah, it definitely flew by pretty fast. What did you and Ruth do?
All right, you said the time's up, but I think you guys were waiting on us. We was the last people on the bus, remember?
Oh, that's right.
You was texting me. You like, hey, where are you? This lady's about to leave. We once we got off the bus, we really didn't. I'll be honest, we really didn't do a lot of research in this town. It was just 'cause my focus was Cliffs of Moher. That's where I really wanted to do. And then when we got to Galway, I was like, man, what is there to do in this town? And there was a lot happening. There was a lot going on. The first thing you're gonna notice once you get off the bus, people performing art, like music.
Lots of live music. Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff going on in the street, and you see a lot of people stopping. There's tons of places to eat, but we was kind of getting a vibe, and we went to a park that had a lot of historical facts. Like I think JFK, a U.S. president, was there at one point. This spot is where JFK gave his speech to 100,000 Galway people in 1963. I would recommend visiting Irish Square. It's a beautiful park right in the center of Galway. If you blink, you might miss this. The historic Brown family mansion doorway from 1627, one of the original merchant families that occupied and helped shape Galway. Also, the Galway hooker sculpture is worth checking out. A Galway hooker is a traditional fishing boat unique to Galway. There's tons of shopping opportunities with over 70 in the area. I will recommend getting something to eat or snack once you get off the bus. The 2 hours go pretty fast. Galway City is known as a medieval city, and you walk past buildings not knowing its history, like Lynch Castle. Did you know in 1493 James Lynch was the mayor of Galway City and hung his own son from a window for killing a Spanish sailor? Galway City is full of history, and we spent most of our time exploring and listening to music along the streets of Galway. We came across Galway's Cathedral. I thought this was an older church, but it was built in the 60s. This site was built on an old city prison. We spent time checking out the church, but if I can do it over, I would visit St. Nicholas Collegiate Church, which we passed by walking here. St. Nicholas dates back to the 1320s and missed getting video since we were short on time. We were running out of time and we still had to eat. We walked down Key Street, and here you find places to eat, drink, and enjoy listening to live music. We chose to eat at the Embark Firehouse on Key Street. The price of food here is reasonable compared to Dublin. Once we finished eating, I got a call from my brother Mike, and we had to make our way back to the tour bus. Walking back to the tour bus, we walked past Hall of the Red Arrow and later found out this is a medieval archaeological site and one of the city's top visitor attractions. I could definitely spend a few days exploring Galway City.
Let me tell you, Galway City is super poppin' because I think the population is like 65,000. I might have to check that. Compared to Dublin, which is like, I think 500,000 or maybe 1,000,000. It's like a lot more. It's like a lot more. But it was super lively. There was people everywhere, like out and about in the street. Like Nick was saying, like street performers performing and people crowding around them. Like not just one, and they were spread out. It was happening. And it was really cool to see because, I've heard of Dublin, obviously, from the States, but I've never heard of Galway City. And just to see that the character of both cities, even though they're slightly different, sort of, they still have that very lively, like Irish culture of being like sort of music oriented and also very like people oriented. It just felt really good to be in that vibe.
Yeah, I want to say like the pros of taking this tour outside of Dublin. It's like Ireland is not just Dublin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ireland is more than just Dublin. So that's why we took the tour. So for me, a pro is to get out of Dublin to see what else Ireland has to offer. And we even got a chance to see another city, like you said, right? And Ireland loves music. I mean, we saw that in Dublin, we saw that in Galway, and that's an experience in itself, watching live music being played. And these people are talented. Like they have some skills. They're singing, they're playing the guitar.
They can sing.
And then the art on the streets, they have like, I don't know, everything is super colorful in Ireland. And that's one thing that I'm always going to remember, like from the doors, from the walls. And I want to say they like painted on the history of Ireland into that city. So the pro is cost for me. You don't have to drive. You don't have to worry about that. Somebody's taking you to that location. You go to prime locations. Like these are top 10 things to do in Ireland, period. That's my pros. What are your pros, Mike?
I agree with those pros. I think seeing cities outside of Dublin and not having to drive and sort of having sort of the tour company take care of the small details, that's nice. I think what I would do differently maybe in the future is rather than taking a big bus tour, maybe taking a smaller, because they have, those little vans, like those Mercedes vans, so that's maybe like 15 people instead of like 60 people. I think I would still do a tour, but maybe a smaller tour.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's still, we can shed some light on a video that when we went to Ireland, we also went to Scotland, and then we went to Ireland first. So in Scotland, we did a tour as well, but it was a van tour, and that experience was way better than the bus tour. So I agree with you. Retrospect, I would definitely book smaller tours with the small group of people, and you'll be a little bit more comfortable. Because for me,
Mhm.
sitting for like on the bus for at least 6, 7 hours, it's not, tight. For me, it was tight, and I didn't want to invade your space. And I was like, man, never again. But I'm gonna talk about some cons too. Now, the cons is you want to make sure you get who's giving the tour. I don't know if there's a way to find out who's giving the tour and who's more knowledgeable. I felt like the person that we did the tour with didn't give us a lot of information, like historical information. That's something that I would like to see on a tour. Two, it was too noisy. Like the music, the penny whistle. I didn't feel stressed, but you can kind of look around the bus and you can kind of see people stressed out, like annoyed. And not everybody had noise canceling headphones. So it's like you was just there for the ride. You're like, all right, here we go. This is it. The time. 2 hours at Galway, 2 hours at Cliffs of Moher. It's not enough time, but I know why we did that because we didn't feel comfortable driving. We didn't feel comfortable renting a car. Those roads were really tight, really small. Remember that the bus almost hit a car? Remember that?
I
With those roads
don't.
with that. Well, I was out, because I was sitting by the window, right? It was one point where there was a car coming and the bus stopped because the car was going to hit the bus because those roads were so small. Why we wanted to do a bus tour. Would I do it again? Nope. I would definitely take my chances in renting a vehicle or doing a van, a small tour. What's your negatives, Mike?
I think you hit it on the head. Yeah, I think I agree with what you said. I think, just in the future, like a little bit of constructive feedback, it would have been great to just learn a little bit more about Ireland. I think in the future, I'll just come prepared with my own guidebook. And like, if I have to, maybe just read from the guidebook. So that way I can still have the experience that I'm looking for. So maybe in the future, I'll prepare in that way.
Yeah, you're right. Reading up ahead of time. And I think coming here 3 days is not enough. I'm talking about Ireland as a whole. You could definitely spend a week, this beautiful country. Dublin, you could probably do in a weekend. You could pick some things out that you really want to do and knock it out. But Galway, I could spend a day there. Cliffs of Moher, I could spend maybe half a day there. There's so much to do in so little time. But yeah, Mike, hey, thanks for your time, man.
Of course. See you in the next video.
Like, comment, and subscribe. We love hearing from you. Would you do a bus tour or rent a car? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, then check out our other video all about Dublin, Ireland. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.